Well, if you find the time, have the interest, and research your family history, you'll more than likely find you're related to someone famous or somewhat famous from the past, present, or both. As Nicholas Kwolek explains, this week's Someone You Should Know's family history doesn't connect him with whom you might consider a mega celebrity, but it does connect him with a North Dakota notable.
Not many people can say where their ancestors once lived is now a historic site. But Rob Hanna can.
I think my mom would bring me here to visit at least once a summer from before I can remember. And she'd point out his portrait on the stairs and say, well, that's your great-grandfather.
Lewis Hanna was the 11th governor of North Dakota, serving between 1913 and 1917, and lived here in what's now the former governor's mansion. In 2022, his great-grandson is in charge of preserving history, a task about which he is very passionate.
I guess I'm one of those people who can't remember a time when I wasn't interested in history. But more than anything, I'm just interested in humanity.
Hanna is a North Dakota native and has been working for the State Historical Society since 2018, and before that worked at the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center. His responsibilities include budgeting and supervising, as well as making sure visitors to the state's historic sites understand why they are just that, historic. Hanna says there's nothing quite like getting to see history in person.
They're beautiful, they're meaningful, they just speak for themselves. So as long as we know how these places will best serve the community in each time and each generation, the rest will take care of itself.
Hanna's wife, Caitlin, says with Hanna's help, the importance of North Dakota history won't be forgotten.
I mean, have I heard a similar story more than once? Absolutely.
Oh, no.
But I'm interested in local history too. I have a minor in history. I didn't major in it, but it's really easy to get wrapped up in his excitement because he's so passionate about it. And he does a really good job at getting other people passionate about it too.
Since Hanna does have former gubernatorial ties, I asked the couple if they could ever see themselves living in a home full of history.
I don't think the state would let us.
I know exactly how drafty that house is.
Yeah. There would be some remodeling needed to be done. It's for the public now. It's not just for us.
That's right.
As for thinking of following in great-grandfather Hanna's footsteps?
No, I don't think I really have.
Oh, good.
Right? Yeah, I have no interest in doing that. I'm doing exactly what I love to do.
Rob Hanna, someone you should know. A life and career for the books. The history books, that is. Reporting for KX News in Bismarck, I'm Nicholas Kwolek.
If Hanna looks familiar, he is one of the many contributors to our story we aired last summer on the 70th anniversary of the TV debut of Lawrence Welk.
That's right. And if you would like to rewatch that two-part series or see this full story, you can visit our website at kxnet.com. Sounds like somebody, Josh, that you should that you would have some good conversation. Josh is a history buff here.
Yeah.
Always giving us these little tidbits of history, so I'm always being educated.
You know, I love what he says. The building just speaks for itself, right? When you're around old buildings, whether they're the governor's mansion or a church or whatever, I mean, it just the value in the architecture is really apparent.
And it's gorgeous too.
Yeah, and when I was a kid and we would walk into these historical buildings, my dad would always say, this building has seen so much. So even when I was a kid, he would try to instill that sort of appreciation for the history of where we're standing. So if I were to walk in that building with my dad, he would go, wow, this building has seen a lot, and he would tell us that at 5 years old, so we appreciated. I appreciate that as an adult, the story there.
We can say that about our news station too.
That's right. It's very historic.
It's a relic.
That's right.
Seen many broadcasters.
It has. Imagine
a lot of stuff
the
that's
feet
happened in
that
this
have
room.
walked through this building.
Yeah.
But it's not as drafty as a lot of those others, fortunately.
It's been remodeled.
We are not drafty here.